Hello everybody, my name is Delton and I do everything. In today's video I wanted to show you guys this. It may look like just a normal storage tote, but it's actually a $0 quiet enclosure for this Shop Vac. Today I want to explain how it works and what I'm going to be using it for, because I can guarantee you it's not what you think it's for.
Now this quiet box was built with $0. I did not spend any money on this thing. I made it using an old storage tote we had laying around, some foam that we had in the attic, and some hot glue that we've had for who knows how long. I also found a couple pieces of PVC pipe laying around, so I used a couple tools to cut them and fit them to the sizes that I needed.
Now here's a look at what's inside the box. It's really quite simple. Especially for how well it seems to work. So this is a Stinger wet dry Shop Vac. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a Shop Vac enthusiast, but it fits right in here. We have some nice foam in there to help a little bit with sound deadening. It's of course not acoustic foam, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's there to do a little bit of a job. We have the vacuum intake right here. This is where it sucks the air from. And then we have the exhaust. This is where the really fast moving low pressure air is coming out. And you might notice this small gap right here, and that's actually to help with airflow. So this thing needs to stay cool, right? Not only do we want to keep it quiet, we also want it to not overheat, because if it overheats it can cause damage, and I don't want that to happen to this vacuum. So what I have figured out here is we're actually going to use this really fast air to draw more air in. Now what happens here is this air leaving is really fast, like super fast. When it leaves, it creates a low pressure area all around this. That low pressure area is going to want to be filled in by the air that's inside of here. Because of that, air is going to want to naturally come in through the easiest way open, the path of least resistance, which is right here. As it's flowing in, it's coming all the way through here, and it's mixing in with everything. And then it gets sucked out here, out through the exhaust. So another thing is that all the heat that's generated from this vacuum is blown out here by this small fan. You probably can't see it from where the camera's at, but there's a small fan in here. The heat gets blown out kind of up here and up here, kind of in a V shape. This area gets blown up towards the top. Guess where all the fresh air is? In the top. So that means the fresh air that's coming in is mixing in with this warm air. I won't call it hot air, it's warm. It's mixing in with that, and then it's all going out right here. It creates a really nice path for the airflow, and from my testing, it's actually done a really good job at keeping it relatively cool. There are a couple of problems with this though. There are two main hot spots that I've found with this, and they're both right in here where the air really has nowhere to go. The good thing about this is that there's nothing important that's down in these areas. All the things that are important are up here at the top, which is exactly why I have the air coming in from the top to go down towards the bottom, because the air is perfectly going to mix in and flow right over all of the important stuff. So there are some hot spots, but it's not that big of a deal. Another thing is the exhaust can be loud, especially if you're on the exhaust side. However, where I'm going to be using this, which I'll get to in just a moment, the exhaust volume is not important. So now, what am I even going to use this for?
So on my main channel, this is actually a second channel, I do a lot of Lego. You can probably tell from all of the sorting stuff that I'm a little bit of a Lego enthusiast. So what I do more specifically is I do a lot of what are called Lego vacuum engines, which are, as the name implies, engines built out of Lego bricks that operate using a vacuum suction. The one problem is the vacuums that we need that are powerful enough to run these engines are the Shop Vacs, and they are extremely loud. And I and a couple of my friends have been going to a few shows within the past year or so, and the number one issue we have is how loud these Shop Vacs are, especially in these spaces where, you know, there's a lot of exhibitors that probably don't want to hear a vacuum running for hours and hours and hours. So my goal was, for the show we actually have coming up in about a week, was to have a quiet box for the Shop Vac so that we could run it for extended periods of time without extremely disrupting the environment of the show. So now I want to touch on how well this enclosure works as far as, you know, volume levels and such. I have an app on my phone It's an entry-level decibel meter. And so in a somewhat small room, I placed it about a foot and maybe 2.5 to 3 feet away, and I did some tests. So the first one, it went from about 93-ish decibels open to about 85, I think. There will be a video right now that's playing it, so you'll know the exact numbers. But it did pretty decent to be 1 foot away, basically. And then it has a setting that shows you the frequencies. And so one thing that I did notice is that a lot of the higher frequencies seem to die down a lot, which is good because those are the most ear-piercing, the ones that are the most uncomfortable to listen to. And since we're going to be in an event center kind of thing, where there's going to be a lot of loud talking and stuff like that, I think the lower frequencies, plus it's going to be underneath the table too. So I think the lower frequencies staying is actually kind of a good thing instead of the higher frequencies. I also set up the phone about 3 feet away and did the same tests. So here are the numbers there, just, you know, so it kind of goes a little bit farther away. And then the farther away you are from the box, the better. So it seems to do pretty good for the fact that I spent zero money on it.
So if you guys want an update on how this works at the upcoming show, be sure to subscribe because I'm going to be posting a video explaining how well it did and possibly some upgrades that I can do to it. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Delton and I do everything. I'll see you in the next video.